Welcome to a brand new episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Musum.
Hello.
And Happy New Year. Hope everybody's last month did well. We haven't listened to it, we did our RPGs of 2025 episode last month where we talked about all the RPGs we played in 2025, even though those maybe necessarily didn't come out in 2025. So a healthy smattering of RPGs over the last 12 months. So the clock starts now for 2026's RPGs. So let's figure out what we have been playing over the last, let's say, 2-ish months. Musum, what do you have?
I actually have played a bunch of games for once. So I'm just going to talk about Outer Worlds 2 for about 5 seconds.
Okay.
In that, after last podcast, I played it for another week. I got to a kind of a trading outpost and then went to a new planet, and it played for a little while longer. And Outer Worlds 2 is just not my thing.
It's really not clicking with you at all.
Yeah, like I'll probably give it another try later on down the line, but with Microsoft upping the cost of Game Pass to $30 a month if you want the new ones, like
Yeah.
I was out on Game Pass, and with Outer Worlds not really, grabbing me.
Yeah.
It just was missing too much of what I liked about the first one, and all the characters so far they just weren't that great. I wish they stuck with their Firefly model, honestly. But
Yeah, because you want at least one party member that you're like, look, maybe everybody else in this game is garbage, but I got my boy, this killer space robot who loves cats in my party. It's like he and we're going across the galaxy together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Anyway, moving on. I started playing a whole ton of Vampire Survivors. I think that just maybe a December game for me.
Okay.
So for starters, I had my work sent me to Baltimore, and I wanted a game to play on the plane. And I thought, well, Vampire Survivors on Android is free, right?
Oh, there you go.
You just have the occasional, hey, you died, you can revive and watch an ad to revive or something like that.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah, so I kind of started a fresh game there, and I forgot how hard it is to start out in that game.
Yeah.
But I played that a long time, and then I eventually went back home and played even more on my Steam Deck. And gosh, there's so much stuff to unlock in that game still. And
there really is.
Yeah, like the Castlevania DLC is just unending, it feels like. In a good way.
It really does feel like it's bigger than the base game and like a lot of the free stuff they've put in there. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean the character list just keeps going and going and going, and I've gotten to where I've just started Googling how to unlock some of this stuff.
Oh,
but,
yeah, 100%. They actually just put out a free update for the Castlevania DLC to add more weapons and characters that they had forgotten in the original release. Because people are like, what about this character? It's like, you know what? You're right. We did say every character. Here's 7 more characters. It's like, oh my God, please, I'm dying.
Yeah. I mean, they even have the werewolf guy from the 64 game. That's
it's wild.
But gosh, what was I specifically wanting to talk about? I unlocked a thing called party mode, where you can have multiple characters on your screen at the same time that you control one and like a bot controls the other.
That's wild. I have not seen that.
Yeah, and I was very confused how it worked at first, because at first I was getting frustrated. I'm like, why can't my second character ever pick up I forget what they're called. We'll call them accessories, right? Your weapons and your accessories. And the answer I found out later on Google is that both, like, you can have up to 4 characters on the screen. They all share whatever accessories you have.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't matter. They limit the amount of weapons dependent on how many characters you have. So with
Right. They
two
do that
characters,
for the co-op mode too, because it's like when you have two
yeah,
characters, you can only pick each person can pick 4 or 5 instead of 6, and then it like goes down the more people you add.
yeah, yeah. I mean, not that it matters. You get the right Darkaso. Was that the other card?
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah.
You get the right Darkaso on Arcanas, and you'll just get as many weapons as you freaking want. But
Yeah.
uh,
Exactly.
it's yeah. My understanding is it works the same way as co-op. I have not played it on co-op.
Hmm.
I wanted to, but it turns like me and some coworkers were going to do it on our phones, but that turns out it's only local co-op, so not
Oh,
really an
weird.
option.
Okay. They just it was in like the last month or two on the PC and console versions at least they just put in online multiplayer. So I wonder if that'll
Mhm.
come to the mobile versions as well at some point.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah,
it'll lag behind a little bit.
I bet that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, the mobile version's solid. I I don't think touchscreen is the way to play this game,
Sure.
um, but it's doable.
Mhm.
Um, and and honestly, every time I play on my phone, I'm like, man, just think 15 years ago, like
Right.
every freaking editorial piece was like, "This is the future. You
Yep.
people with your controls are living in caves."
Yep.
Uh, anyway, like that game is still awesome. I think they had added another free DLC at some point
Yeah,
that I
I
just
feel like they had recently just added one, and I don't. There's a one previous one I remembered was the Square Enix Saga games one that I'm still not done with because I'm like 4 DLCs behind. Um, I think there was like 2 free pieces of DLC after that. I'm like, I'll let all of this like go water over the duck's back, and I'll just hop back into this game at some point and
yeah.
have 500 hours more to play.
I mean, that's the best way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, once you start like actually grinding in the game, that's to me, that's time you put it down, you let it percolate for
Right.
a couple months, and
Yep.
then whenever you need some meditative type relaxing game, fire it up.
Well, and I
Um,
do the similar thing to you where like I'll play a map, like a handful of times and I'll try and find the secrets and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, I wonder if this character's weapon evolves with this item and that sort of thing." And eventually I get to the same point of like, I'm just going to look it up. Like a lot of people are
yeah.
like, "Oh, just pick up the character and go into that one level that has the like marble floor and all the jars in there."
Oh, yeah,
And they're
yeah,
like, "That has every active weapon and every passive or whatever, and just scoop all of them up and see what evolves." And I'm like, no, that that doesn't sound like the fun part, man. Like
yeah.
the fun part is
I've done that
unlocking
a
more
few.
stuff.
I've done that a few times, and it's really the most boring way to do it.
Yeah.
And honestly, with this latest, I assume it's one of the latest DLCs, but they have a bunch of weapons that require an evolved version of most of the base game weapons to evolve.
Yes. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and that one is, I mean, who would have, who's going to evolve lightning and then
Yeah.
combine
Exactly.
it
Like,
with something
and
like,
then mash it with something other evolved, and it's like that's not the fun. I know that's
yeah,
the fun part for some people. It's not the fun part for me.
I, I like the result. Figuring it out is never going to happen.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Uh, but anyway, that I still love that game. It is crazy to me that I'm still playing it after all these years.
Yeah. And
Um,
I'm sure you saw the next Vampire Survivors game that was announced a month or two
oh,
ago.
they're doing that card game,
The
something like
first
that.
person dungeon crawling card game.
I haven't watched the trailer. I just saw a little blurb, and I thought,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe.
It's Vampire Crawlers, I believe it is. Yeah, it's like very much a first like a it looks like a stereotypical kind of first person grid based dungeon crawler, but your attacks and everything are a deck of cards that you pull from to do attacks, and they all look like the cards seem to be items and stuff from Vampire Survivors. So it just looks bananas. I'm so excited.
I need to watch the trailer for it. I'm sure
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Yeah.
These God, was this their first game? Like, I know as a company it was, but are these veterans
Vampires.
or were these?
Yeah, if Vampire Survivors is Ponkel's first game, I don't know if it's so Luca something is the I don't know if we actually know his last name. Is like the original kind of solo developer, lead developer. I don't think it's his first game, but it might be now that I think about it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
wild.
okay. Wait, I hit a home run. Like, I wonder if he even needs to, if they even need to sell another game again, or
I
if they're
don't
just
know. Well, they just licensed their engine, the Vampire Survivors engine, for that Warhammer game. Because the like
oh,
Warhammer Survivors game got announced as well, and everyone's like, "I can't believe they stole the. This looks exactly like Vampire Survivors." And Punkel's like, "Yeah, we licensed the engine, man. Like they wanted to make this game. We'll give them the engine that makes this game. Like, there you go." It's like, oh,
yeah.
okay, well, that's a good deal.
I mean, it's pretty robust, man. Like, you can have a my Steam Deck does not even start slowing down until I really get an absurd amount of things going on the screen.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, this
and I
game
don't
is
know
so
that my
good.
Android phone ever slowed down.
Yeah.
So they did some.
Excuse me.
And man, it looks better than it ever has. It weirds me out when I boot it up. I'm like, how's this game look
Yeah,
better
they
somehow?
upgraded the engine at some point and kind of made it look like a smidge better. They do have some options in the game to make it look how it did originally, which I think is really funny. But yeah, it's a good looking game. Like it's a hell of a game, man.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay. So moving on, I have played a metric ton of Kingdom of Night.
Kingdom
Um,
of Night.
so this is I think I talked about it last time, but this is a game I kickstarted
Yes, right.
in 2018. Um, it has an kind of 80s bent, like it was kind of pitched as a Diablo meets Stranger Things type deal,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know that it's particularly like either. Like it's
Right.
really just an 80s like action RPG type of thing with kind of a really cool pixel art style. This game should be death by a thousand cuts. I'll be blunt with you. Like there's a
Okay.
lot of like weird little annoying things in it, but I really like this game an awful lot.
Oh, nice.
It's it made a lot of missteps with me. Like so the first misstep was after last podcast I registered the code they had sent me and started playing it. And the first boss you do, like I almost didn't go back to the game after this. Um, you're looking for your dog, and the bad guy changes your dog into a big monster that you have to kill.
Oh boy.
Um, so you, I was very upset about that. I'm like, why did they make me kill my dog? What
Yeah, like
kind
that's
of terrible?
the thing that games aren't supposed to do.
Yeah, and I thought I'd beat the werewolf, he'd be my dog again, and maybe I'd get a sidekick, but that was not the case.
Right.
So I eventually went back, and I'm glad I did because it is a lot of fun. It has some really goofy writing through it that I enjoy. The jock kid is always taking the like he can't seem to actually understand any given situation he's in, and is
Okay.
angry about it, and usually accusing you of something. Um, the uh, the world is kind of fun to run around. Um, they just have all these big maps with some like fetch quests. One of the cool things they do early in the game is you go to a party before all hell breaks loose, and then all the demons come out, and all the kids that were at the party you have to find, and the ones you find and get back to this safe haven bar called Stinkies.
Great
Um,
great bar name.
yes, yes. Um, they benefit you in some way. So like one character adds another accessory slot where you can equip something. Um,
Oh,
one one character will heal you. One character makes another NPC open up and start talking,
that's
um,
cool.
and there's like I don't like 10 or 15 students or something. Like there's a bunch to find.
Wow.
Um, and for whatever reason, that really like has been my driving force in this game.
Right.
Uh, the story beats in the game are really dark though. Like a lot of people die.
Oh, okay.
There's not a whole lot of happy endings. It's an odd mash of lightheartedness versus oh, so okay, all those okay. You
Demons
failed,
got
they
all
just
those
died.
people.
Yep, that's how it goes. Okay, that person got turned into a demon. But let me see. So some of the other Thousand Cuts, I probably should talk about those. The map system is a little confusing at first because it looks like a map, and you don't realize that the areas that they don't display a text name are still areas you can go to, and once you have visited, it'll give you a mini map that you can see at any point over there. And then
Uh,
when you get a quest and it goes there, you can kind of look it up, but like they don't have quest markers for every beat of the quest. Like some of them I really wish they would. So they have one quest where you find a locked safe, and then you figure out that the password is this number sequence from the end of a game. So then you got to go find a copy of the game, then you got to go back to your home and play the game, and then you got to go back to the safe and unlock it.
uh,
Um, that last step, they do not mark on your map where that safe is.
oh, and you're like four
Yeah.
steps past it and playing an entirely
Yes.
different game. So you're like, cool, I don't remember where that is at all.
Yes.
Okay.
That was and it's in particular they don't mark it on the overall map. Like
Oh,
once you
jeez.
figure out there's an unlabeled area you can click on the overall map that will show you something smaller, then you can be like, oh, this is okay. I think that's when the quest marker kicks in, which is
Hmm.
weird because most of the other quests do hit the main map.
Weird.
They also like so there's I assume there's a fifth boss, but right now there's only four bosses I'm aware of, and I've beaten or I take it I'm sorry, six bosses. We got to include the dog.
Hmm.
Um, and I have beaten all of them except for kind of the last demon, and then I assume there's a demon after them. But the one I did previously is a Pazuzu, which was a fly creature, and a s- they have multiple steps to fighting Pazuzu, which they do with several of the bosses. But this one is you're running up while this swarm of fly creature demon things are coming up on you.
Hmm.
And if you go too slow, they'll catch up and immediately one hit kill you.
Okay.
Um, and it is, I think I tried that thing at least a dozen times. Like it was very frustrating. Like they have a character who you're supposed to kind of follow as they run, but they will easily outpace you if you get an angle or two wrong while you're
Oh,
running.
weird.
And it's not like something that's like 2 seconds long either. It's something that's like a solid 30 seconds. So
Hmm.
like I probably spent I don't know 20 or 30 minutes just on that one part, which was
Oh,
fairly
jeez.
frustrating. But that said, I'm playing a necromancer. The
Oh, all right.
My weapon I equip for the book are things like um oh no, I forget the name of it. I should have written it down. Uh, oh wait, I did. No, I didn't. Okay, but they'll have like a geometry book or a parent's permission slip or a
Oh, that's
lost
fun.
report card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's all like stuff your character would have had originally, like before the
Yes.
demons came. That's pretty fun.
Yes. Yeah. It's all things like that, and eventually they get you some more staff and helmet and whatever. But like probably 75% of the stuff I found um, is really fun flavor text stuff like that.
That's pretty fun.
Um, the the way they do the magic, I think, is really interesting too, in that you have one button on your controller that opens your spell screen, and they just give you all the spells to your class up front. Um,
Okay.
and each spell has a two-button code to it. So when you open the book, it pauses all combat, so you can just look up the code for what you want, and then you punch in your two-button code, and then you punch your cast button, and it goes off. And it was like, part of me wishes they just did like a Diablo type thing where you could just equip the spells to a couple buttons, because the way they have the skill trees set up, you're really probably only using, maybe three of the spells at a time of the
Oh, sure. So it'd be
12
a really
spells
good
there are.
hotbar game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But that said, like I like that they were trying to think out of the box with the spell book and casting it and such.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I So this may be a particular to me issue that no one else in the world will ever encounter, but
Okay.
on the off chance that the developers are like, "Oh, this podcast is talking about my game, I should listen to it."
Right.
I'm playing this game on a Steam Deck with a PS5 controller, and
Okay.
it is giving me Xbox prompts, and
Yes.
I have adapted other games. This works fine, and they give me the PlayStation prompts. The Steam Deck recognizes it's a PlayStation controller. I would just like this game to also recognize it.
Yeah, I am also frustrated because I use my DualSense on PC a lot for a lot of games because I have a DualSense and I have an Xbox controller here, like whatever the most recent non-elite Xbox controller is. I do find the DualSense a lot more comfortable for my hands, but there are a number of games that just don't display the correct button prompts, and they don't even have an option in the like one of the last ones I remember was UFO 50, where you could plug in whatever controller you wanted and you could pick basically Xbox prompts or PlayStation prompts. It was X buttons or P buttons. I like that. Like, either just let me, if you're not going to support it or like try and figure it out naturally, just let me put my
Yeah,
options in there, man. Like,
yeah,
I'm playing a game now, a roguelike that actually doesn't support PlayStation controller correctly at all, which is really weird. But that's like a whole separate problem.
man. That's yeah. It's it's been a while since I've run into it. I thought we'd gotten past this, but
Yeah, ditto.
and granted, this is a small team. I kickstarted this thing in 2018. It took them some time to get this thing out.
Sure, right.
Um, so this is probably just me being hopeful and abusing my position as a podcast
That's
co-host.
right.
Um,
As is our right.
yeah. Um, so as the necromancer, you only get one summon, and his name is Henry,
Okay.
uh, which I love. It's just this big skeleton thing. Um, Henry will attack people as long as he has health. Um, and he gains health by you attacking people, which
Okay.
it took me a while to figure that out, but it's a neat push-pull thing where, okay, this enemy's too powerful for me, so now I got to think outside the box to defeat him, because they will all, like, he pulls aggro, so they'll all attack him first for the most part.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and I found a lot of, some ways are kind of grindy ways in terms of, well, I'm barely hitting this guy and I'm just going to be in this battle for the next 20 minutes, but I've I've managed to topple just about every enemy I've run into because of that, which
Hmm.
is kind of neat. Um, let's see. I think that's about all I wanted to say about this. I really like this game. I think if anyone's watching and you're seeing the screen, if anything about those graphics appeals to you, I say just get it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it's kind of a slow start, and they advertise it as being like, I think, a 7 to 9 hour game, but I'm pretty sure I'm like 10 hours in. Like, there's a
Okay.
lot of wandering around and looking for stuff.
But it's definitely not a 120 hour sort
Oh
of
yeah, yeah,
Persona 5
no,
thing.
Yeah, and honestly, I could probably just beeline for the next boss. I'm just having fun doing all the side missions and running into people and uh, there's a lot of humor in the game. Like you find this kid who is just thinks he's smarter than everyone and insults you at every moment, and he sets up shop below Stinky's bar and just wants you to bring a monster parts so he can do experiments and have you drink stuff that is an experiment on you.
Okay.
Um, you have another group of kids who are holed up in a tree house who are playing basically D&D.
That's great.
They call it something else, but anyway. Um, and then the last game I've been playing, which I'm curious if you've played it too, is Demon School.
Yes, I played probably about 2 hours of this, I think.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
until there was one specific battle that the background in the battle screen kind of does a swirling effect, and it did some sort of zoom thing that like immediately made me incredibly dizzy. So
Oh
like
no.
I played it on stream. All the other battles were great, and I just unfortunately haven't had time to get back to it yet.
Oh man.
But I did
Well,
play, a good amount of the beginning of it.
yeah, I am this is a long game, like honestly.
Oh wow, okay.
This is I thought this was going to be a short game. I'm really enjoying it, but I think I'm here, let me see what Steam tells me. I am 20 hours in, and I think I'm just, I think there's like 11 or 12 weeks in the game, and I think I'm on like week 3 or 4.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay.
so it probably is like a 60-hour game
Yeah.
or thereabouts, which is thankfully not Persona level, but
Right.
it's
Right.
I worry about the battle system keeping me engaged that long because it's already feeling like I'm already kind of getting tired of the battles.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it,
but
the battle system, for anyone that hasn't seen it, it's really interesting. The game itself is really interesting because the studio is basically like making, let's say, like a lost Saturn game that never existed. Like that seems to be the vibe they're going for.
mm,
Um, and the battle system's really interesting because it's grid based, but it's not. It's like kind of an SRPG. It reminds me more of oh gosh, the big robot turn-based roguelike that I always forget the name of, that I really like, and I'll look it up here in a
the
second.
no, I'm not going to be any help, am I?
Uh, but
Into the Breach.
Into the Breach, yes, thank you. It reminds me more of Into the Breach, where your party is kind of doing all of your attacks, and it has the thing that we ran into with Tactical Breach Wizards, where you can set up all your attacks and say like, no, I think you can do better. Rewind, like re-spool the whole thread, and then try and do it all again, and be like, no, okay, let me step back one or two. You don't have to step back all the way. You can step back one turn at a time, um, and it really is kind of like push pull focused. Like you really are trying to push your enemies into other enemies, or push the enemies into another party member, which will do like a combo attack, or pull an enemy away from attacking another enemy, or switch spots with an enemy and like attack them from the other side. So it really is like manipulating a lot of party members around the battlefield and enemies at the same time. Um, and then when you like the turn you're going to do, you commit it, and then it does this very cool chain of attacks where it kind of goes faster and faster and faster, and everybody's attacking at the same time. It's not like one party member goes and the other one is like, you're kind of ganging up on all the demons you're fighting. um like it is really cool, and it does have this kind of like almost football inspired thing of like, you're clearing out the end zone of the enemy by defeating X number of them, and then stepping into the end zone to kind of like purify the battle. But the enemies can also attack your end zone on your side, which will do damage or end the battle. So like there's always kind of this push that both you and the enemies are doing. But even after 2 hours, I think I could already see the thing you're running into, which is sort of like cool, but like if I'm fighting just a bunch of like no name low level demons, I feel like I kind of want to just get through this battle a little bit,
Yeah.
like to just kind of keep moving on.
Well, and that's yeah. I mean, that is all the battles except the boss fights. The boss fights are completely different. God, it's so weird. The boss fights are really almost like they're entirely different strategy wise. Whereas like a normal battle, it is pure push pull. Um, the boss fights, you can only damage them for one damage.
Okay.
Um, and in the game, you have all these round goals to do. And as far as I can tell,
Yes.
you get slightly less rewards because there have been a few battles where I'm like, I'm just not going to put the effort into this. And I'm
It
just going to
it
get through
reminded
this
me a
battle.
lot of again Tactical Breach Wizards, where it's like there's no you don't have to complete all of the goals. Sometimes they'll say like kill all of the 10 enemies in this battle to unlock the end zone. Do it in less than 4 turns and you get the best rewards. But even if you do it in over that, you'll still get rewards and they'll be good. So it's sort of like, all right, I'm not gonna really stress about 100% doing every battle, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you could go through and be like, oh, I missed like the perfect chain combo here, but I don't. That never felt 100% satisfying to like nail that in the way that I think it does in some of these other games.
Yeah. Well, and man, I'll tell you one thing this game has though on the other games is I think a lot of the times in some of these tactic situations, they make it so that the fighting puzzle only has like one or two solutions to
Mm-hmm.
achieve the goals. And they very much have left it very open-ended. Like there are a large variety of ways to get to point A to point B
Oh, nice.
in this game. Like I have never felt like I have to restart. Oh, I did move this character one square off or something. Like
Right,
half the
exactly.
time I can recover from whatever I wasn't thinking about.
Mm.
And yeah, I guess now that I think about it, the battle system was wearing on me, and then I unlocked two more characters, which I feel like they take their time getting you the characters.
Yeah.
Because I think there's supposed to be like 15 or something in it, and I
Wow.
think I'm up
Really?
to
Jeez.
6. Yeah, I I feel like I feel like that was an article headline, so I could be wrong,
Sure, sure.
but I also like I'm kind of wondering if I'm just going to get every high school kid that has a portrait drawn, which
Yeah,
would mean there's
exactly.
at least 5 other characters I'm going to get.
Yeah, everyone who doesn't have a title like anxious student number 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, even then, a lot of them start out with as long as their faces aren't shadowed like this guy on screen.
Right.
Um, I think they will wind up being because they had an angry girl on earlier, and that is a party member
Oh, okay.
later, which is possibly my favorite character. I thought like maybe Newt was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Newt is obsessed with bad movies and VHS tapes, and is just his gosh, the dialogue in this game is so good. And
The writing is really solid. I will
yeah,
give them a lot of credit for it. Like, the characters are fun. The writing feels really snappy, and there is a considerable amount of text in the game, but it never feels like a conversation is going on too long. Every once in a while, I'll have a conversation where I'm like, I could have gone for like a little bit more of that, especially at the beginning of the game. Of like, you probably could have. I could have a little bit more flavor there. So like, it's kind of good to leave them wanting, I guess.
yes, yes. I just one of the characters like they it's funny because it's like they try to present the characters as extremely two-dimensional
Mm-hmm.
and they'll add some more dimensions as they go, but man, they love riffing. Like they're so good at doing the 2D characters. Like
Yep.
one character's whole stick is that I want to say he's stupid, but he's really not stupid. He's just really he interprets reality in a crazy person way.
Okay.
Um, which they all kind of do. I forget his name. You get him early on. He's the guy where he if you hit someone they push back a tile. But
Oh yeah.
um, early on in the game, like characters like I'm not going to mess with you unless you tell me a joke. Uh, and that character's like, okay, here I got a riddle for you. What's brown and sticky? And everyone's like, and then someone's like, a stick. It's the answer to the thing. And that is his level of humor. That is his character
Right.
through the whole thing. He thinks everything is his uncle. Like you catch a fish and he's like, "What's my uncle doing in the water? I don't understand." Destin, that's his name.
Oh, okay, Destin. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The I should have written down the new character's name I got. It's probably a slight spoiler anyway, but she is a man, what can I say about her? I'm trying to think of what you know at the beginning and later in the game. She has a ridiculous backstory. Maybe we should start there.
Hmm.
And she is very angry, um, but in a very. It's just funny. Like at one point, she's like, "Yes, we'll hang out then. It'll be a date." And your character's like, "Oh, a date?" And she's like, "Yeah, like June 12th or 16th. I don't know." And then runs off. It's
It is pretty funny though, because like it does feel like, we talked earlier about like it feels like a lost Saturn game. It really feels like an homage to those kind of archetype characters. Like this is the kind of like angry swords girl who looks like maybe she's from Japan for seemingly no reason. And here's the tech guy, and here's
yeah,
the guy that loves investigative reporting and like all of that stuff. And here's kind of like the silly jock guy who seemed like he was a bad guy originally for maybe 5 minutes. And like you're the main character Faye is really great. Is this like very headstrong, like very convincing person who's just like, demons are real. I'm gonna go fight them, and everybody's coming with me. And they're like, no thanks. And she's like, but you are. Let's go do it. Let's go fight those demons. So she's really great. I wasn't expecting to
yeah.
like her as much as I did, but their writing for her, I think, manages to toe a very fine line and keep her really endearing the whole time.
Yeah. And I don't know if they're actually gonna do it, but I suspect part of the characters acting like they act is due to the demonic presence on the island. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
story things that happen that are like, wait a second, you mean okay, everyone is just acting crazy on this island because of the weird magic stuff that is going on. And
Hmm.
as you solve it, like maybe they will talk more like real human beings. I don't know. Uh,
Right.
but probably not fully, but I bet there's a little bit of it, like because they
Sure.
definitely have a memory thing. But anyway,
Well, it's
I
interesting
will.
too because like this game feels so much like Persona 1 and 2. Like
Yeah,
those two titles specifically, not like Persona in the 3 and after that are kind of a different game from Persona 1 to 2. Like this really does feel like, like you said earlier, you have a number of weeks, you have a calendar, you have stories that are evolving across the island as you're going through, you have free time you're spending around town, but it's not like Persona 3 and after where it's like, okay, you have one thing to do in the afternoon, you have one thing to do in the night, you have one thing to do in the morning. Like it's sort of like, okay, you have a little bit of time, and once you go do this thing, it will pass time. And then you have a
yeah,
whole slew of other things to do after that. So like it's full of really interesting influences in a way that I think really work for it, especially early on. And I need to get back to it because I think it's really cool. It just, I had a moment where I'm playing it of like, oh boy, okay, that background is really spinning and zooming. Oh boy. So,
Yeah, it's I really do love the game. I worry. I'm still worried about its length,
sure.
but at the same time, there's like on the character screen, I can equip two skills, and there's a third slot for I can't remember. They named it something different,
Mm.
and I have not obtained whatever that different thing is yet.
Oh, okay.
So I know they're going to keep kind of evolving the combat, and like the latest character I got is kind of like Namiko, where she will um, zoom past a line of enemies.
Hmm.
But unlike Namiko, she damages them as she zooms by.
Oh,
And
interesting.
like I got a skill where if you attack, then you stun them. So I kind of just made her into a damaging Namiko. So I'm hoping whatever this third skill is kind of changes the combat a bit,
Yeah.
and getting the different skills and new characters I think are a lot of the push I have for this.
Hmm.
But I just want to tell all the moments I love from the story, but I probably, not that I've spoiled it to an extent of ruining anyone's experience that they may have with this game, or I mean, you're either going to forget I said something or you're going to realize like I've just given you a drop in the pond. But
Hmm.
um, there's so much I want to talk about that I probably just shouldn't because it would be a spoiler.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, so I think that's all I got to say about this game this month.
Yep. It's really
Um,
good. I think
yeah,
if you go watch a trailer, I mean it is very much what the trailers show, and if it looks cool and it sounds, all of this stuff sounds good, it seems cool so far.
yeah. Well, Boston, what have you been playing?
The only other real thing that I've been playing is Destiny 2. The Renegades, I guess we'll call it DLC. I guess it's really kind of like a seasonal thing, but they're calling it an expansion. But I don't think you should go into it expecting it to be like a full expansion length experience. I think you should sort of think of it as more of a like a seasonal thing, where it's a handful of missions here and a couple of new activities and things like that, but nothing wildly huge. Um, but this is the Star Wars expansion, which people have probably seen at this point. I went into this with a fair amount of trepidation, really worried about how Star Wars influenced it was going to be. Um, and I think for better or for worse, it's more Star Wars experience than I expected it to be. Um, I think in some regards, it's fine. Like the new enemy force, the Barren Imperium, is basically the Cabal, the like really big, kind of like rhino-sized enemies that wear red armor typically. They're wearing essentially white stormtrooper armor in this, which is fine. Like they aren't literally the Empire, so like that's fine. But it feels a little bit. It feels like some of this stuff swings too far away from being inspired and just being the thing. Like you'll see every once in a while, you'll fight these like Colossus things, I think they call them. They're just those like ATST chicken walkers from Star Wars that just have like a little bit different kind of faceplates on them. Um, and like I was looking for more inspired by Star Wars, like anytime they do like a scene change during a cutscene, it does the kind of star wipe that Star Wars always does. And it's like, okay, that's more of like the kind of lighter touch that I wanted. Like the beginning of the DLC starts with the famous camera shot from every Star Wars movie that has the planet on the bottom of the screen, and the camera swings up to show the bottom of a giant spaceship as another spaceship is fleeing away from it. And it's like, okay, sure. Like you go to rescue the drifter who was like forcibly frozen in stasis, and it's just like a carbonite slab, and I'm like, okay, like it's just the first mission, guys. Like you can't just like break all of them out. Like another mission has like a one character's kind of like on a desert planet pleasure barge that's over what is clearly a Sarlacc pit, and I'm like, guys, you're just like you're just doing all the hits, man. But when it does the Destiny stuff, that stuff is still really good. I think the final mission of the expansion is really good. It's this kind of like at some point you find this sparrow, which is your kind of like land speeder thing that you've had, since the beginning of Destiny 1. But it sort of looks like an evil version of it. It has like flames spitting out of it. And you're doing this really interesting multi-level or multi-phase thing with it where you're kind of doing a race through these tunnels that you're almost doing like it kind of reminds me of Sonic 2's kind of special stages where you have that kind of half pipe you're wandering in. So you're racing it through there and trying to avoid stuff while you're shooting enemies. You stop in a much larger arena, and you're doing a bunch of like shooting and fighting enemies and doing like shooting based puzzle stuff. You'll overload a generator and you'll kind of run away from the explosion, and you'll kind of rinse and repeat that a couple of times. So that felt really good. And it's kind of nice to have a little bit of a different non-traditionally Destiny thing. But then the storyline is basically you're stopping. I'm not even going to try to recap what has happened in the storyline since Edge of Fate, which was like the new saga's start. For anyone who has played Destiny for any length of time, it primarily, the new saga revolves around the Nine, which is like a whole faction of enemies, friends, foes. I have no idea, that I like kind of don't care that much about. But you're stopping this thing called Nightfall, which is a not quite circular spaceship that shoots a giant laser out of the front of it. That basically, it's just the Death Star, and it basically kills like all light-bearing people. So like, it's one of those things too of like you got real close, but then like you got to the point where it's just Star Wars again. So like that is disappointing. You're in the cantina on Mars, which is really just the cantina from Star Wars. I do have to say the new activity, Lawless Frontier, I think it's called, is pretty good. It's this kind of multi-phase. You go to one location on a planet, and you do a bunch of stuff, like either collect a bunch of things and dunk it into somewhere, or it's Destiny, so you're capturing a plate, or you're controlling a plate or something. You're kind of doing your normal stuff. You'll go to another area, you kind of rinse and repeat that, and then you get to the end, you'll call for something to exfil you. You'll protect an area for a little bit, and then hop in a ship as it comes at the end. It's sort of lightly reminiscent of something like Helldivers, where you're kind of hunkering down in a place and waves of enemies are coming at you. But those missions, I feel like there's like too many of them throughout the campaign, and you can see how they'd be really good with a fire team. Like, I'll do these mechanics with 2 other people, and it will go at a good clip, and it will move fairly smoothly. But throughout the whole campaign, unless you bring somebody with you to do these missions, which I'm going to be blunt here a little bit, You're probably not, because nobody's playing Destiny 2 anymore. They're impossibly long. It's a lot of like, I collected a whole bunch of stuff while I'm fighting waves of enemies, and I dunked it into a thing, and I got 15% progress. That's not much at all. Let's keep doing that over and over. So like that, the activity feels good, but like there's no scaling for when you're doing it single player during the campaign. Like I would have been okay with doing, collect things and dunk them twice, and I would have been through. That would have been good. And then you do the full thing when you play with matchmaking after you finish the campaign. And I have played those things with matchmaking. They feel really good. Like that mission moves at a really solid clip and feels really good. But it's just one of these things of like, there's just no. It doesn't feel like this expansion, kind of from top to bottom, was made for the solo player. And people will probably say like, well, of course it's not, because you're supposed to play with friends and yada yada. They're not. They're not playing it anymore. I'm the one person still playing it. So like there needs to be some, I think, level of acceptance that the solo player, during the campaign at least, is an important audience for Destiny 2 right now. And I feel like there wasn't that kind of understanding. So like, it's fine. I also got my lightsaber. Like, I forgot about that whole thing. There's a whole mission, an exotic mission called Fire and Ice, where you go to get your Praxic blade from the Praxic vault. It's a lightsaber. You can throw it and it comes back to you. You can do the spinny thing and it deflects bullets. It's a lightsaber. You also get, like, through various activities, you can get different Praxic crystals for them to change the lightsaber color. It's just a lightsaber, man. Like, we played KOTOR 1 and 2. Like, it's literally the same thing. Which, like, is kind of fun. It's an exotic weapon that's a sword that's in your primary slot, which I definitely was not expecting. Typically, swords sit in your heavy slot, the kind of purple slot at the bottom of your character. So, kind of cool to play, a different kind of loadout for that stuff and sort of buck expectations a little bit. I think the part for me, though, is it does, and the thing that I'm really struggling with here is it's what feels like a standard Destiny expansion, though on a kind of a smaller scale here. You have a set of missions, you're getting an introduction to the kind of activity that's happening during, or that'll be available during this season expansion, mini expansion, whatever. And then when you finish the expansion, they give you, a whole quest line to improve your Praxic blade and like get additional mods and stuff to improve it and change it for your play style and stuff like that. And then they unlock this whole additional system, or this additional activity type for the Lawless Frontier, where you're like getting contracts, and there are 3 factions that disagree with each other, and you're building reputation with the factions and getting bonuses and stuff like that. So there's a considerable amount of post-game or post-expansion stuff. I just don't know if I feel like I want to play that. And like, that sounds really weird. As someone who really loved Destiny up until Edge of Fate, like, getting through the campaign was just the first step. And then, like, everything else unlocked after that. But there's no planet anymore to explore. There's no patrol space. There's no, like, hidden secrets you're finding on Mars or anything. There is no Mars to explore. You just have the cantina area, and that doesn't really seem to have anything in it. Um, and like the kind of the thing I miss a lot of Destiny is kind of the old Destiny, where it's like, all right, now I have this whole planet available to me that me and my friends or random players or whatever, we're going to do some public events and we're going to work on the title and we're going to explore. Did you know there's this cave over here and there's this cool thing and this led to a whole different mission. There's just none of that anymore. So like the social aspect of Destiny 2, ever since the switch from the final shape, which is the end of the Light and Dark saga, to the beginning of the Fate saga, which was the start of Edge of Fate, has stripped so much of what I feel like Destiny's identity was, and it has sort of replaced it with menus. And I think that's a real bummer for a game that had so much identity and had like so much life to it, that just choosing all this stuff from a menu and like configuring your difficulty and all of that stuff with the portal just doesn't feel, it feels lifeless in a way that Destiny never really did. And I was hoping that Renegades would at least start moving in the direction of reversing some of that stuff from Edge of Fate, because it really does feel like the majority of the community that's still playing it hasn't really liked these decisions. And it doesn't feel like they have kind of dug their heels in about it, but it might have been one of these pieces of DLC that was too late to make any kind of radical changes to Destiny. And it doesn't feel like there's anything there that kind of makes me want to stick around after the DLC, which is just such a bummer in a lot of ways. So I'm hoping that they haven't announced what the next DLC is or what the next year is going to be, which is understandable because this just happened and Marathon comes out in March. So like they have some other things to focus on here. But I'm really looking for Bungie to kind of make that next step of like, okay, we've heard you loud and clear that you're not really vibing with what Destiny is right now. Here's what we're going to do in the future to kind of unravel the kind of mess this game is in at the moment. So we'll see, but I unfortunately don't see myself going back to this whatsoever, unless there's something they haven't announced that's significantly different from what's so far, but that is historically not what they usually do. So I don't know. It feels really weird to be like, yeah, I'm done with Destiny for another couple of months. Then I think I'm still coming to terms with that kind of out loud here. So we'll see. But if you like Destiny, you like Star Wars, this was a fairly good Star Wars expansion. Just more Star Wars than Destiny, which was my concern when they showed it off initially. So I'm hoping they won't do another one of these collaborations again, because I worry about what it means for Destiny long term if they're going to keep doing collaborations like this.
Like, how does it affect the lore of Destiny doing something like this?
That's a great question. I think they actually managed to strike what I feel like is an okay balance from a lore and a storyline perspective. They're kind of telling the story of a brand new Dredgen, which are like these kind of not inherently evil, but kind of lawless characters in the Destiny universe. And it's really painting the Drifter as like your kind of Han Solo character. And Dredgen Bale, who is the kind of bad guy in this, as really Kylo Ren, like 100% Kylo Ren, even kind of the voice and the mask and everything.
Mm.
So like it's kind of blending the two things, I think, in a way that really makes sense, and still continuing the story of the Nine from the end of the Edge of Fate, the previous expansion, and then kind of some of the storyline stuff that came in between Edge of Fate and Renegades. So like I feel like they actually did a good job. It wasn't just like, here we are, me and Princess Leia are storming the Death Star. Like they thankfully didn't do that, but like it really it felt very Star Wars in like the story and the story beats. But I think they did do a good job of saying like it's not this kind of self-contained Star Wars story. It really does still relate to the overarching Destiny story.
Okay.
So I think they did do, to give credit where credit's due, I think they did do a really good job on that part specifically. But it's just hard, man. I don't know. And it's also a bummer because like I really wanted to play more RPGs here over the the nearly 2 months we were off, and I just really did. I've been playing on Stardew Valley with my kid, which you do get experience, but it's like not really an RPG overall. So, all right. That's all I'm playing for this month. Let's move on to our releases here real quick. We do have a kind of a good grip of games here. On the 15th, January 15th, Legend of Heroes Trails Beyond the Horizon comes out. PS4, PS5, Switch 2, and PC. This is the next Trails game. It's a sequel to Trails Through Daybreak 2. They do mention here it's the 13th installment in the main Trails series, which is still a wild number of games, not in a JRPG series, to be clear, but a JRPG series to come out in the States that isn't Square Enix published or developed. Because I feel like that isn't a thing we typically see anymore. So people still seem to really love these games. I should get into them at some point, especially now that they're remaking the Trails in the Sky games, and those remakes seem to be really good. But 13 games, and I know you don't have to play all of them, but it still seems like kind of a heady prospect here. But got a brand new one coming out here on the 15th. On the 22nd, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade comes out on Switch 2 and Series consoles. There is a demo available now that will carry over into the full game if you do want to check out how this runs on either Switch 2 or Series consoles. It ran fine on PS4 and PS5, so I don't expect there to be any problems on either one of those consoles, but you kind of never know. For anyone that doesn't remember, Remake is the first of the Remake trilogy, confusingly enough. Intergrade is the one that comes with the base game and the Yuffie DLC. So that's the one you want anyway, because it comes with the full game in it. I will still recommend, if you have not played the original Final Fantasy VII, you should probably do that first. The modern versions of Final Fantasy VII have really good like God mode and infinite gil and infinite limit bars and stuff like that. So like you could fly through that game probably fairly quickly. How do I put this? Remake is not a remake of Final Fantasy VII. So I know that sounds really weird that something called Final Fantasy VII Remake is not a remake of Final Fantasy VII, but it really isn't in a way that I can't talk about without kind of spoiling the entire thing. So if you wanted to play this and you've never played Final Fantasy VII, I would maybe recommend just kind of blowing through the base Final Fantasy VII firsthand. It's still a really great game. That materia system is really good. and then going and checking out Remake Integrate. Square has said that the whole trilogy will be coming to Xbox platforms, and I think they're shooting for the third one, which still doesn't have a name. It should still be Reunion. Please, Square, listen to me. I believe they're shooting for that day one. So we'll get Remake Integrate here, and I think in a little bit we're going to get the second game, whose title is... I don't remember. I don't remember.
Crap.
Because I keep thinking Reunion needs to be the title for the third one, and then I don't remember what the second one is.
It's thought I had it in my brain until you said I don't remember.
It's another R title. Someone is yelling at the podcast right now, and
I feel like they put the word remake into a thesaurus and came up with it, or whatever that was.
It is... Let me look it up here real quick before it drives me bananas. Rebirth. Thank you. Rebirth. Yes. Which also is like a Final Fantasy VII thing, so I'll appreciate it. But Remake is great. Rebirth is great. And I'm hoping the third one will be great when it comes out in insert time frame here. So if you haven't played it, go check it out. Next up on the 30th, we have Code Vein 2 comes out, PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is, I think a lot of people wrote off the original one as anime Dark Souls, which, if you look at it, you go, well, yeah, that's anime Dark Souls. And it is, but from everybody that played the first one, it's like, that's kind of where it starts, but all of it is way better than it had any right to be. And I know a lot of people are very, very excited for the second one, and it kind of looks like they're taking what made the first one and just putting a whole bunch more in there. And I think that's kind of all you need for a sequel like this. So that seems pretty great. I didn't play the first Code Vein. Did you?
No, I always wanted to.
Yeah.
No.
I have sort of a hard time getting into like Soulsborne games in general. I am finding, unless they're 2D Metroidvanias like the incredible Hollow Knight Silksong, then I feel like I have problems. I have promised Moon that next time it is on sale, I will pick up Elden Ring and I will stream that. So I will be doing that at some point and see if that fits my fancy. A game that I have not really wanted to play for a bunch of reasons, but we'll see how that goes at some point.
I mean, it's not bad, and having the horse makes at least combat on the main map fairly easy.
Mm-hmm.
But once you go into a dungeon, it's a Souls game again.
Just you and your giant greatsword.
Yep.
Yeah. Next up is Front Mission 3 Remake. On the 30th, comes out on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series consoles, and PC. This came out on Switch some point last year, and I feel like was received okay. I think 2 had some problems that I think they were eventually looking at fixing, and 3 seemed like it was received well enough. So it's nice to see that it's coming out on additional stuff, especially PC. Really hope that it has like a Steam Deck version, because that's probably the best place to play it. If you're not going to play it on kind of a home console. But I don't know, man. It's Front Mission 3. If you're listening to the show, you know what Front Mission 1, 2, and 3 are. Like, let's be entirely honest. So you kind of know what this is.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, the third one's the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played the remake, though, because Front Mission 3 is an incredibly long game.
Yes.
And if you want both characters' stories, then double those hours.
Yeah.
But this is, in my opinion, the best front mission has ever been.
Yeah.
So
Really good. That comes out on the 30th. TBA, this month, it appears it's going to come out on this month. Caves of Cud is going to be coming out on Switch 2. Maybe Switch 1? I kind of can't tell. But it seems like it's tentatively planned for this month. There's no specific and kind of final date quite yet. If you haven't seen Caves of Cud, it's a incredibly large turn-based roguelike RPG. One of those like if you're kind of thinking of the like roguelike mode of Dwarf Fortress, I think you're kind of thinking of similar things where it's this world simulation sort of thing. I have not yet picked up Caves of Cud because I'm a little bit intimidated by it and worried about how much time I'm going to spend playing it. I have heard though that it plays really, really well on controller, surprisingly, and I've heard a lot of people say they prefer playing it on controller. So that's really interesting. I think that maybe bodes well for the Switch version. So we'll see. If you're looking for a giant game that I think you can play forever, that people won't stop talking about, I think you can play Caves of Cud. That's Caves of QUD. And last, but certainly not least, coming out February 5th, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, coming out for PS5, Series consoles, Switch, Switch 2, and PC. I genuinely thought this was coming out later in 2026. I really didn't think it was coming out this soon. I think Reimagined so far seems to be the right title for this game. Dragon Quest VII infamously has like dozens of hours at the beginning of it where you don't fight enemies for story reasons, and it's a 100 plus hour game on the low end of the sort of estimates. I know the 3DS version or the DS version, whichever one that was, that they put out sort of streamlined a lot of the game. Reading a lot of interviews for this game, seems like they're going to be streamlining it even more. So trying to make... I feel like it's not unfair to say one of Dragon Quest's least accessible or maybe most intimidating games. I think they're looking to make it a lot more accessible. And it looks incredible. They've turned Dragon Quest VII into this kind of cool, like, clay-inspired, like, handmade diorama sort of thing. It looks really, really, really striking. I think this looks really cool. Are you interested in this at all?
Since they've remade the first three, my interest lies with playing them in order in the
Sure.
remakes. Once I beat the games on my current slate, so
Yeah.
maybe eventually,
Right.
depending on how far down that rabbit hole I go. But they aren't remaking 4 or 5 and 6, or did they do those already?
No, they haven't announced anything. I kind of wish they would, because like 4, also infamously when it came to the States, they cut out like all the party chat, which is like a huge part of a lot of the Dragon Quest games. So like version we got on I think that was a DS game. Like it was kind of an incomplete version. We got a pretty good solid version of 5. We didn't really get a version of 6. So like you could see them kind of like going through and at least doing like an HD 2D thing for 4, 5, and 6, and maybe those being pretty successful. But like you're doing the thing that I would recommend as someone who just played through 1, 2, and 3. Is like going and playing through them in order. I know they didn't release them in that way, which I think is kind of a mistake, because the back part of 3 is more interesting if you played 1 and 2. But those 3 games are really great. I want to be interested in this game, but I feel stubborn about it of like I feel like I want to play the PS1 version of this game though, because I love the idea of playing those extended many hours to get to the point where enemies get unleashed on the world, and then like the kind of traditional Dragon Quest takes place from there.
Mm.
But I'm not sure how realistic that is. I maybe if they, what how long to beat puts out the estimates for this game, and it's like 35 hours. I'm like, okay, I'll probably play that one instead because it's
Oh
a
yeah,
third
yeah.
of the length of the other one. Like maybe that sounds a little bit more approachable. But also, I'm just kind of still waiting for Dragon Quest 12. So like, can we wrap that one up? Maybe, because that I'm excited to play that because 11 was incredible. I don't know. It is nice here in the States to finally have like an embarrassment of riches with Dragon Quest. And I hope at some point they do something with 4, 5, and 6 to at least let people like the pixel remasters for Final Fantasy to say like, all right, you want to get started with this? Here's a bunch of them. Like here you can play the first 7 of them, and we're working on 8, and 9 will never was 9 the one that was online, or was that 10? That was 10. 9 was
Yeah, I
the
think 9 was
DS
the yeah.
dungeon trading one that I kind of dug. But
Yeah, I played the crap out of that.
yeah, I played that. I played that a lot. Excuse me. So yeah, that's Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. That's coming out on February 5th because we're going to be recording the next episode after that. All right, that's all the releases that I could find for this month, which means we're at the end of our episode. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Musim, where can we find you online?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the address, but I have two things I need to plug. So one is the vinyl for Best Wishes came
Oh,
out.
yeah.
It is 180 gram white vinyl. I don't know that I'm going to do another pressing. If you buy it on Bandcamp, I have it priced at $34. If you buy it on a first Friday, and I remember I'm going to put out coupons every first Friday so you can save that $4 off
There
of
you
it.
go.
I forgot to do it yesterday though. But if you are in Tulsa, you can just go to Monad Records and purchase it,
There you
and
go.
they're selling it for 30. And
Musim, you put out a bunch of clips and stuff on Instagram of you opening and showing off the package. It looks very cool. If you like a vinyl with like a booklet in it and a very cool record and like a very nice package, it looks very nice.
yeah, I spend too much money on these things, but it's like
But I
I could
think
just do a
I think it paid
yeah,
off. I think when you look at it.
yeah. I like it, and it gives us something to sell at our shows too. So,
True, true.
um, so then part two is earlier today. I had a Twitch streamer by the name of Ricarthius um, invite Squid and I on to talk about Musum and show some songs. So we played uh, Dead by Daylight, and then we played one of the tracks from the upcoming album called Roots. We played a remix off of Best Wishes, and then the two music videos, which I gave him the wrong video files, and they're kind of early cuts of the video. So,
Oh, okay.
uh, but yeah, we did that for a couple hours. So if you want to check out that stream, I don't want to spell Ricarthius for you.
I will try
Find
and I'll try and see if I can find the whatever they put up on their YouTube channel. I'll try and link it in the show notes for this one.
yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, and actually another angle is I did post a link to his Twitch in the TVGP Promote Yourself channel on Discord.
Yes, true, true, true.
So go join that guy or the E1N. What is that Discord called? Is it E1N1 or
You
is
can
it
just do
TVGP?
discord.tvgp.tv.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can find links to everything I do at a Linktree site, linktr.ee/John Musim, JohnMusim.
And just to spell Ricarthius here, Rikartius. Twitch.tv/that.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of places to find me now. I've been doing for the last, I think it's 6 months now. I have been streaming every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific for 3 hours, 2 hours on Thursday because I need to pick up my kid earlier from school that day. I'm a variety streamer, so if you want to watch a whole bunch of stuff, I'm going to be, come hell or high water, I'm going to start an RPG on stream this week. I'm going to try to do a full play of Dragon Age: The Veilguard because I have not yet played that. So I'm going to try and play through that on stream. So if you want to see me play my last kind of full stream like game from beginning to end was Silksong. So it's been a little bit of time since I've kind of dove into a full game there. But if you want my a link to my Twitch, it's Jansen Plays, my YouTube channel, my social media, and all that stuff. I post videos and shorts and all of that stuff pretty much even TikTok, which is wild how well stuff does over there. Jansten.com, JANSTEN.com is where you can find all of my social media links. I just have a whole grip of stuff on that. It's kind of a mix between Destiny Emblem Collector, DestinyEmblemCollector.com. I'm not playing much Destiny, but that's still going on over there. E1M1 stuff, the Patreon page, patreon.com/E1M1 or E1M1.cash. The Apple Podcast, Spotify, Twitch, all of that stuff is all over there over on Jansen.com. And whatever social media stuff I post ongoing will show up over there as well. So I'd love to see people in the chat. I have an incredibly welcoming community over there. And everybody's super, super cool. And I run a very, very chill stream. It's very much the same energy here, just live. So please go check that out. I'm playing a whole bunch of really cool stuff. I think that's it. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Really happy to have us back here again for another year of RPGs. And hopefully we'll see you all next month. Bye.
Bye.